Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Good morning and welcome to the Center for Creative Living. We're so glad to have you join us. You know, every Sunday we bring in some beautiful speakers, people who talk about things you might not have heard before. And I'm so honored to be presenting our great Aminah Ramezany today. And she's going to be talking about Muhammad, the man, for Ramadan, so that you can find out why some people follow the teachings of Muhammad. We talked about Passover earlier this month, so you could hear about how people in the Jewish faith follow the teachings of Moses and Abraham. And then we talked about Christianity and Jesus, the man, and how people follow Christianity. Do you realize that we have covered the three great religions in the world? Right here in your church, in the Center for Creative Living. That's because we're a multi-faith church. We honor the religion that you believe in, but we also honor you if you don't believe in a specific religion, but you call yourself spiritual. Because we also honor people who follow the goddess path. We honor people who, in their heart, follow love as their spiritual guidance. Because you are so important. Your energy is amazing, whatever you are following in that positive way. Now, speaking of positive things, we're opening up the center for May 13th, when I am going to be talking about your spirit guide, how to get in touch with spirit guides. Yes, Doti Boon is back teaching classes. We're going to be teaching 2 classes a month. And if you don't know what we're going to be teaching about, it's because you're not getting the CCL insights. So let me know, safedoti@aol.com. If you're not receiving the Center for Creative Living Insights, it tells you what we're doing every week here at CCL and when exactly we're going to open up for church services. No matter what we're doing, we're going to request that you wear a mask or a shield. And we're going to have you sanitize your hands when you come in. And the whole room is going to be sanitized. We're taking care of you, but we need to see your face. Hugs are going to be very limited. You can only hug somebody that you've been living with. And hopefully you've been hugging them all along. Now, UCM is having a wonderful speaker this coming Tuesday night, and that's Tiffany Taylor. I don't know if you've heard Tiffany or not, but she's full of enthusiasm. She's full of a lot of energy. And we really like to have Tiffany on board. Now, the Universal Church of the Master is our parents' church, not my parents' church, our parent church. And this is what's so exciting about it, is that when we get a chance to see something that comes straight from our parent church. And I'm looking here, Tiffany is going to be speaking how to take care of your future self. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, we've got all these wonderful things coming up for you, and we want you to be aware of them. And now, something else that's coming up is April 23rd is our HIV/AIDS retreat. This is going to be on Zoom. And for any of you, if you're caregivers for somebody with HIV, if you're someone who is a roommate of somebody who HIV or AIDS, and you want to know more about it, or if you yourself have HIV or AIDS, we would like for you to come to the retreat. The retreat has been going on for many, many years and has been held here at the CCL. So we're not saying come over, we're saying go on Zoom. And if you need any more information, please either contact me at Safe Doti or contact Janet Childs, the Center for Living with Dying, or even get a hold of the Bill Wilson Center. There are so many people who are behind this incredible retreat, and we want you to meet people that can identify with what you're going through. Okay. Now, today we're going to start out with a wonderful message and prayer from our wonderful Reverend Ann Corbin. Reverend Ann is our associate pastor, and she's going on vacation very soon. And so we're going to miss her while she's gone, but we hope she has a marvelous trip up to Oregon and around the West Coast here. Okay. And then after she does her wonderful message and prayer, then Aminah is going to be speaking, and following that, our Dr. Reverend Janet Childs, or Reverend Dr. Janet Childs, however you want to refer to her, is going to be doing a meditation. And she uses her guitar when she does that. And it's going to be accompanied by slides by Reverend Corry Gott. Look at all the things that are coming up. And all of this is put together and produced by our wonderful Reverend Eileen Augustine, who is the president of the Universal Church of the Master. So we've got all these amazing spiritual people. Because when I talk about religion, do you remember way back before we talked about Passover, Reverend Eileen talked about being a Druid and brought in the Celtic energies. Yes, this is a multi-faith church. We want you to appreciate and enjoy the energies that other people of the world have right now. So please stay tuned and have a marvelous Sunday.
Good morning and welcome to the CCL Sunday Celebration. I'm Reverend Ann Corbin, Associate Pastor at the Center for Creative Living, and it's my pleasure to bring you this morning's opening prayer. I hope you're all doing really well this lovely morning. This is going to be the last week that I'm going to be bringing the morning prayer until June sometime, and that next time could actually be in person if all goes well and the center opens again. During the next 2 weeks, aside from my regular day-to-day job and activities, I'm going to be preparing for a trip to go see my sister and brother along with their families, and I haven't seen them since last July, when both my mom and my pop were still alive. They both passed away, my parents, and my siblings and I haven't even had a chance to celebrate their lives together until coming up in the next couple of weeks. So I'm very grateful that I did get to see both my parents last year. It certainly made it easier for me to handle not being with them at the time of their passing. I'll be in Oregon for a few weeks with my family, and I'm excited to see my siblings and their families, and I get to meet my new grandniece, who was born at the end of September. Please let me take this opportunity to give a special thank you to Reverend Dr. Eileen Augustine for being so incredible and for taking my Sundays for me. No matter how busy you are, Eileen, you always have my back, and I have no words for how grateful I am for your love and support. Hopefully you know that I have your back as well. This is a wonderful morning. Aminah is speaking about her faith and will be teaching us about Ramadan and more. In the CCL Insights, she says that her talk will, quote, help us understand and appreciate what Ramadan means to Muslims, and hopefully we will find commonalities in life, spirituality, and faith choices, end quote. You know, one thing that I do know is that the greeting between Muslims is Assalamu alaikum, please forgive my pronunciation, which means peace be upon you, and it's so similar to the Hebrew greeting of Shalom Aleichem, which means exactly the same thing. May peace be upon you, whatever path you may walk. So close your eyes and take in a nice deep breath. Breathe in love, light, abundance, and peace. Hold that for a moment and breathe out, releasing anything that is not serving your greatest and highest good at this time. You can set those cares and worries aside, knowing that the Creator will take them for you and transmute them. Dearest Creator, we are so grateful to be together on this beautiful day. Thank you for our lives, and thank you for all life, and for protecting our beautiful Mother Earth. As you wrap us in your loving arms, we can feel the peace you always offer to all humanity. May we all awaken to your unconditional love and see your loving eyes in each person we meet, Creator. No matter how different we may look or how different our beliefs, we are all spiritual beings having a human experience. May we come to see the truth that we are all one in your eyes. We thank you for always being present to guide those souls that have recently left their earthly bodies back home to you. Thank you so much for lighting the way, Creator. We give thanks for the opportunity to celebrate and honor different religious paths and to learn about the holidays and many expressions of faiths, realizing that there are so many similarities in all love-based faiths. We are grateful for the many rivers flowing to one sea, the sea of real love. Thank you for the Center for Creative Living and the Universal Church of the Master that is based upon those core beliefs and celebrates each one of us in our own connection to you, Creator. A special thank you for our first responders and essential workers. Please keep them safe and whole as they do the same for each of us. Most of all, thank you, Creator, for blessing our lives every minute of every day. May peace be upon you as well. In deep gratitude and love we say, blessed be, amen, and so it is.
Good morning, everybody. This is Aminah Ramezany, and in this time of the year, I am able to go by Hajj Khanum, which is a term that is used for people who have celebrated Ramadan by going to Hajj. I want to give a brief biography of Prophet Mohammad, peace be upon him. Here is a quote from the Holy Quran. We have sent thee as a mercy to all the worlds. Chapter 21, verse 106. Prophet Mohammed was the son of Abdullah, whose ancestry reached to the Prophet Ishmael, son of Prophet Abraham, peace be upon them. Prophet Mohammed was born in the city of Mecca in Arabia on Friday, the 17th day of the lunar month of Rabi'i, in the year of 570 CE. Into a noble family whose fathers and ancestors were amongst the chiefs. His childhood. Muhammad's father, Abdullah, was the best and most pious among his father's sons, and was much beloved. His father died while Muhammad was still in his mother's womb. All that he left behind were 5 camels and a servant girl who became Muhammad's nanny. Abdullah was a monotheist, which is having the belief in one God. After his death, Muhammad's grandfather, Abdullah Multahab, became his guardian. Abdullah Multahab was one of the chieftains of the tribe and a believer in Allah, in the way of Prophet Abraham, as was Abu Talib, a brother of Abdullah. Abu Multahab always respected and honored treaties and adopted the finest of morals. He loved the poor and helped pilgrims. He would even feed the wild beasts and the birds of the mountaintops. He would feed people in times of famine and would restrain wrongdoers. Muhammad's mother was Aminah. This is my namesake, which means trustworthy and honesty. Aminah is also the female version of Amin, the nickname of the prophet. And she was also a believer in Allah, which translates to one God. When Muhammad was born, his mother said, "As soon as I put my child on the ground, he leaned with his hands on the ground, raised his head to the skies, and looked at the horizons, all the while speaking the phrases of monotheism, one God. Then a voice called out to me, saying, 'The best of mankind has been born, so name him Muhammad.' Then Aminah sent for Abu Multahab. He came to her, and she said, 'A wondrous boy has been born to your family.' Muhammad was not yet 7 years old when his mother died. After his mother's death, his grandfather, Abu Mutahab, assumed his guardianship. Because of his knowledge of the status of the child and his faith in him, Abu Mutahab treated Muhammad with more care and attention. He never learned to read or write and had no formal education. He was a shepherd of very simple means. In his village, he was of a simple person, orphaned, and in his youth, he was considered to be the most reliable and trustworthy of persons. People repeatedly would ask him to protect their families and manage their businesses while they would go on long journeys, which was common for the times. A group of the Mehjinin clan came to Mecca, and when they saw Muhammad, they said to his grandfather, "Take good care of him, for we have never seen another of his station." Abu Mutahab told this to Abu Talib in his will and asked him to heed what they had said and take care of him. Muhammad was 8 when his grandfather died, and his uncle Abu Talib became the guardian, defending and honoring him throughout the testing times of his prophethood until the last breath of his life. Prophet Muhammad's adulthood. Muhammad became known for his excellent manners, and because of the honesty in his conduct and dealings, he was referred to as a truthful one and the trustworthy one. As a youngster, Muhammad accompanied his uncle on his business trips to Syria. When he reached the age of 12, he journeyed with his uncle Abu Talib. A Christian monk named George saw him there and recognized him by his description. He took his hand and said, "This is the chief of the worlds. God has sent him as a mercy to the worlds." Abu Talib, how do you know this?" George said. "We find him mentioned in our books." Muhammad was considered illiterate and a shepherd who had never participated in war. In his youth, he was considered to be the most reliable and trustworthy person, and people would ask him to protect their families and manage their businesses while they would go on long journeys. Known also as the one that always had a smile, not angered, and known to be a person who would invite newcomers to the city to be his guests. He was also known for his care for others, very trustworthy, and having a smile for everyone as he treated all equally. As an adult, Muhammad worked as a trader between the cities of Mecca and Damascus and earned a great reputation in the process. Having heard of his reputation, Lady Khadijah, one of the nobles, commissioned him to take charge of some of her trading business between the two cities. A single woman, successful business owner, was not a common occurrence either. Lady Khadijah sent one of her servants along with him to keep an eye on him and report back to her. Having seen his performance in the business and the returns he brought, as well as his honesty, Lady Khadijah put Muhammad in charge of her business. Although she had many proposals for marriage from various dignitaries, Lady Khadijah declined them all. It is reported that it was Lady Khadijah who indirectly and discreetly made the marriage proposal to him. Some historians have reported that when they married, Lady Khadijah was older than her new husband by many years. The debate goes on by how much, but in either case, they were comfortable in their roles and in their life together. While she lived, he never married again, which would have been a common practice for many men in this time of history. Lady Khadijah was a woman out of time, being both a business owner and an independent woman. Adding on that she took on the business of asking a man to marry her. That was a very meager means, was again unheard of. Lady Khadijah gave birth to 3 children. All of the Prophet's children that were boys sadly all died young and during his lifetime. His only daughter, Fatima, survived and later became the wife of Imam Ali, the first Imam in Islam. They had 2 sons that later became Imam also. There are many things written about her, and Islamic women are encouraged to use her life achievements and challenges as a guidebook, not only for her deep commitment to her husband and children, but her devoted life to others and her father, both personally, as a daughter, and as a committed Muslim. Fatimeh would be and is the guide for all women in the Islamic faith. Wonderful books on her life are just a glimpse into that life and her commitment to Islam for all Muslim women to carry on. The start of his mission. His prophetic mission was when he received the first divine revelation. The Prophet Mohammad used to spend much time in prayer and worship of the one God. This he used to do in a cave known as Hira. In the Al-Nur mountain near the city of Mecca, at the age of 40, Muhammad received his first revelation from God through the angel Gabriel. The revelations continued for 23 years, and they are collectively known as the Quran and can still be found written in the original text and language. This is the miracle in and of itself, because Prophet Muhammad would have to memorize and recite all Allah revealed to him because he was illiterate. As soon as he began to recite the Quran and to preach the truth which God had revealed to him, he and his small group of followers suffered persecution from unbelievers. The persecution grew so fierce that in the year of 622, God gave them the command to immigrate. I want to go back and repeat something to make sure everybody gathers the gravity of this part. This is a miracle in and of itself, because Prophet Muhammad would have had to memorize and recite all Allah revealed to him because he was illiterate. There are many stories throughout the Islamic community that he would get a revelation from Allah and he would repeat it as he came down the hill and out of the mountains in order to get to the person, we would today call it a scribe, and repeat it back to them in its entirety for the purity of that. Let me continue. As soon as he began to recite the Quran and to preach the truth which God had revealed to him, he and his small group of followers suffered persecution from unbelievers. The persecution grew so fierce that in the year of 622, God gave them the command to immigrate. This immigration from Mecca to the city of Medina, some 260 miles to the north, marks the beginning of the Islamic calendar. After several years, Prophet Muhammad and his followers were able to return to Mecca, where they forgave their enemies. Before Prophet Muhammad died, at the age of 63, the greater part of the Arabian Peninsula had become Muslim, and within a century of his death, Islam had spread to Spain, in the West, and as far east as China. Among the reasons for the rapid and peaceful spread of Islam was truth and clarity in its doctrine. Islam calls for faith in only one God, who is the only one worthy of worship. Prophet Muhammad was the perfect example of an honest, just, merciful, compassionate, truthful, and brave human being. Though he was a man, he was far removed from all evil characteristics and strove solely for the sake of God and his reward in the hereafter. Moreover, in all his actions and dealings, he was ever mindful and fearful of God and acted upon those values and truths. If you want more information about Prophet Muhammad, please refer to the links that I have included more on Prophet Muhammad. The messenger of Allah to humanity died on the 28th day of the lunar month of Safar in the 11th year of the Hijran, 630 CE. And Ramadan, the month of fasting, continues to this day to be celebrated throughout the entire world. Please note that the Quran was revealed to Muhammad in Arabic only. So any Quranic translation, either in English or any other language, is neither a Quran nor a version of the Quran. but rather it is a translation of the meaning of the Quran. The Quran exists only in Arabic, in which it was revealed. To have it translated in another language opens it up for many people to enjoy and read, and it is hopefully the closest translation to the Arabic original. I've included a slide here on Mahatma Gandhi, and I would like to read that out to make sure everybody gets a chance to read what he wrote. I wanted to know the best of the life of one who holds today an undisputed sway over the hearts of millions of mankind. I became more than ever convinced that it was not the sword that won a place for Islam in those days of the scheme of life. It was the rigid simplicity, the utter self-effacement of the Prophet, the scrupulous regard for pledges, his intense devotion to his friends and followers, his intrepidity, his fearlessness, his absolute trust in God and his own mission. These, and not the sword, carried everything before them and surmounted every obstacle. When I closed the second volume of the Prophet's biography, I was sorry there was not more for me to read of that great life. Thank you, everybody, for joining me here with the Center of Creative Living. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Of course, I am always around to answer questions. Feel free to contact me anytime, and I will do my best to ask somebody who's much wiser than myself to answer your questions. Alaikum salam. Please be well.
Where love is, the heart will follow. Where love is, the light will grow. Where love is, a seed is planted in the deep and fertile soil. Where love is, where love is, where love is, oh, where love is. I am here for you in the rough and heartbreak times. I am here for you in the whisper of these lines, dancing all around us to remind where love is, where love is, the heart will follow. Where love is, the light will grow. And where love is, a seed is and the whisper of the lines. They dance all around us to remind where love is, where love is, where love is.
Thank you for joining us for this celebration of faith and fellowship. We'll be back next Sunday, and for those of you, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can leave them in the comments section. If you appreciate this video and the work that the Center for Creative Living is doing, please press like on the video. You can share the video, and also please subscribe, because that will help this community and the church grow. Remember, in these difficult and challenging times, the opportunity to give and support an organization that has done so much for the community is tremendously important. Please help the Center for Creative Living continue in the wonderful work that it does. We will make it through this. We will be stronger for it. Our faith will carry us. Be blessed, be safe, and have a wonderful week.